All right, boys and girls, we are live. We got another episode of the Archery Project for you today, Brian, JR, thanks for joining me, my friends.
Absolutely.
Welcome back. Well, I'm glad to be back.
Me too.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
So, you guys saw it first. Outdoor Life, PJ Riley and the crew, they put the bows to the test. The best compound bows of 2025 tested and reviewed. And we have a winner.
We do.
Again.
Back
No
to
surprise. Back to back.
Yeah, definitely no surprise.
Yeah, so they tested 9 bows. So we had a PSE Mach 33, an Elite Exalt 35, Bowtech Virtue, PSE Decree, Darton Sequel 33, Prime Form, the 34.
Yep.
The Mathews Lift X, a 29.5, which again, very weird.
It was.
All these bows were long ATA bows except for that one.
The Decree.
The Decree was at 31.5. Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay. They kind of covered all spectrums. Yeah. And then the Elite Artists, I think that's how you say it. And then, oh, that's me, guys. Sorry. I'm not on silent. I thought I was. And then the Hoyt RX9 Ultra.
Yeah.
So obviously all top contenders, all incredible bows, but again, PSE, Mach 33 took the cake. They were, JR, we were talking about it the other day. They won in 2022.
Yes, with the Levitate. Then they won last year with the Mach 30, and then this year with the Mach 33.
So PSE is on a roll, crushing it. The carbon bows clearly are good bows. But, you know, I think Outdoor Life did a fantastic job. The way they review these bows, all the tests they put them through, you've got 3 different shooters that are putting these things through the test. They're looking features, feel, speed. I mean, they go through everything and really review the bows well. And then they've got 3 different individuals behind each of them, which, you know, to give that consistency across the board.
And they really don't do a lot of intercommunication while they're doing the testing.
Right.
Like, oh, I like this. Oh, I like this. They don't do a lot of that.
Yeah, it's almost like a silent panel where they're just taking their own notes. And
Yep. And it was air apparent the way they all kept going back to. I mean, you could tell right away the way they all just like, oh, I want to shoot the PSE again. I want to shoot this one again. So, I mean, it was definitely not a giveaway from the beginning by any means, but you could tell. And we've all shot the Mach 33, Mach 30 line against everything that is in here. And we all have said the same thing. So it's, I mean, you're just not going to beat it. That EC2 cam is insane.
Yeah, all the bows are fantastic bows, right?
Sure.
Every bow has its own unique feel, something that draws somebody to it. But you know what was funny about it is if you watch the video version of it and you listen to PJ Riley going through it, he's like, man, we didn't want to choose this bow because we had already chose the Mach 30 the year before. But you know, what do you do when it just outperforms the others?
Right. I mean, it's just a solid choice. It's very hard to beat. But like Zach was saying, you know, all the bows are really good. We've shot most of the bows except for I've never shot a Darton, I don't think. At least not any of the new Dartons.
Right.
But they're all really good performing bows. It's just the Mach 33 just took the cake. Again,
and we have had this conversation, the 3 of us.
Oh, yeah.
Where do we go next? Right. I mean, I think that right now, I think we are at the pinnacle, the peak of, you know, performance, you know, versus, you know, comfort, speed, you know, all of the adjustability, you know, the user friendly. I mean, what's next?
Yeah, I mean, that's been the trend over the last couple of years is getting everything more streamlined on the bows. So yeah, what's going to be the next big innovative thing with archery? And that's kind of where the Forum series came in this year. You know, that's probably the biggest innovative bow that I've seen, where it's joining the aluminum and carbon together. So, and then there's going to be endless possibilities with that, which they've already dropped the Forum 30. So, I mean, what's going to be next for that?
Which it's pretty cool, right? So back to the Forum from Prime, it's a very unique bow. And honestly, whenever we all first saw it, I'm pretty sure everybody was kind of taken back and like, is this real? Is this a joke? And when you see the initial pictures of it, but when you see that thing in person and really get hands on it, it'll really changes your idea of bows in general. For me, at least it did. With those carbon tubes, they've got carbon where you need it, aluminum where you need it. And it's just a really great feeling bow. And the ability to change the ATA lengths that they have now with those carbon tubes is pretty cool. And I personally am drawn more towards the Form 30. That 34 is just a lot of bow. And that 30, when you look at it, for whatever reason, it looks incredibly tiny.
It does.
It's weird. It's deceiving.
It looks like someone pulled the top end of a crossbow off.
Yeah.
And made it vertical.
Why it's going to be a fantastic tree stand or blind bow.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
East Coast, phenomenal.
Only thing that gets me on that is the string angle.
Yes, it is very steep.
It's very steep string angle compared to, i.e., the Mathews Lift X 29.5, where that is so comfortable because the riser is so much bigger and the way their limb deflection is.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the only reason I would go with the 34 over the 30 is just sheer string angle.
Yeah. The 34 is just a lot of bow, especially for me, 20.5 inches. That's just that bow for whatever reason seems significantly larger than that 30, even though it's only 4 inches. It seems massive. But I was talking to John Dill, and he's a bigger guy.
Yep.
He's drawn to the 30 itself. He has a 29-inch draw length, and he really likes that bow. But, I was talking to some other guys about the Prime, the Form in general, and they say it feels about a half-inch short to them. Has anyone else noticed that?
Short string angle?
No, like the draw length feels like a 29 feels like a 28.5.
I've only shot it a handful of times at 29.5, and it didn't feel that bad.
No.
It felt almost spot on for me, but I mean I haven't shot it that much.
Yeah, I think the one when we set it up for me, I think it was at 29, and I came stretched to a 29. And it didn't feel like I was overstretched at all. It felt the string angle was just so steep.
It was steep at what draw length for you?
29.
29.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about, because that bow is kind of limited as far as draw length goes, right? It maxes out at 29.5 inches. So that really, for a short bow, most of them you see, they max out at 30 inches.
Right.
So that's going to cut out a lot of people that have the ability to shoot it. But yeah, it is a steep angle because it is such a short platform.
Yeah, that is one thing with Prime, though, is their draw length seems shorter than average. Like a 34-inch, it only maxes at 30.5 or 30.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just their draw lengths are a little bit shorter to begin with.
Yeah.
For their spectrum.
Comparing the Form 30 to the Mach 30, 30 inches axle, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They're almost comparable. The string angle for the Mach 30 is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I can't, it's just not, there's no compromise with it. As soon as I draw it back, I hit my anchor point, it's there. I know exactly where it is. It's repeatable every time. I'm not moving my head to a weird angle to get to that, straight in the peep to where I want it. I'm just going to go with the Mach 30 every time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, it's a fantastic bow. That is for sure. So back to the testing, when you look at it, so all these bows were tested at 60 pounds. So everything was set up identically.
Yep.
So 60 pounds, 29.5 inches of draw length so that they can get consistent speed, draw weight. When they set these bows up, they went through and tuned each of these bows. So it says they set the center shot to the standard 13/16 for pretty much all of them. They set the knocking point level, and then they went through and they paper tuned each of the bows to get a bullet hole to make sure that they were all shooting accurately, consistently, and performing like they should. And then they used Q80 rests on them, and they used the new HHA Nitrix sight. So everything was set up about as consistently and across the board for all bows, so that there really wasn't any favoritism.
Yes.
Rhythm with the tism, son. Good Lord.
Spit it out, Junior. I think even the arrows were the same.
Yep. Easton 5.0. They shot 395 grains across all of them. So everything was as consistent as it can be, as fair as it can be across the board for testing these bows. They did a fantastic job with that. So they went through, there was a scoring that they went through. Anybody that hasn't seen or read the article on it, they did innovation, for new technology and compound bows. So they scored based off innovation, features, tuning adjustment, draw length adjustment, customizable grips. Then they scored based off the back wall, the draw cycle, the grip, the post-shot feel, were all things that went into consideration with scoring these bows. And then the other big thing was the accuracy side of things. So they shot groups out to 50 yards to see which of the bows were the most consistent. All of them did that, and then they measured those groups to see which groups were tightest. And they shot a boatload of arrows through these. So it's not like this was over a couple days. It's not like they just shot each bow once or twice and then moved on to the next. They spent plenty of time behind each of the risers to get a feel for them, to make sure they were dialed in and shooting well. And the big thing was, which was interesting, was the bows that were the most accurate was number 1, the PSE Decree. Number 2, the Mach 33, which is pretty wild, right? Like, I figured there would have been another bow in there, but when you look at it, the accuracy side of things, we talk about the full draw stability from PSE. Yep. That's been a marketing term that's thrown around, and based off the past 2 years, it's clearly not just a marketing term. It is for real. That dynamic brace height at full draw, the way PSE has built these bows, they are incredibly accurate. The Decree, which is weird, a 31.5-inch ATA, shorter than the Mach 30, outshot the Mach 30 or Mach 33 at 50 yards with a tighter group by almost a half inch.
Yeah, so, on all 3 occasions.
On all 3 occasions, which is wild. Yeah. Almost an inch and a half shorter ATA outperformed all the other bows, even the 35s that were out there, 34s.
Yeah, PSE has the secret formula right now. They got the secret sauce.
The secret sauce is what we refer to it. So as far as accuracy goes and shootability at the distance, PSE is doing something right. But from there, they looked at speeds, and they were pretty consistent with the speeds. I mean, PSE's bows were not the fastest bows. I think the fastest bow was the Mathews Lift X 29.5, which makes sense. That bow is scooting, buddy.
Yeah. 348 IBO on that, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head, but dude, yeah, it was. I think with the arrow that they shot, the speed that they got out of it was like 288.
Yeah,
and
at 60 pounds.
At 60 pounds, that is cruising.
Yeah, 395 grain or 60 pounds. That thing's 288, which is, I mean, like we talk about all the time, that 285, 290 sweet spot where, I mean, tuning a bow at that speed is just butter.
So yeah, it's hard. Yeah, honestly, hard to beat.
Yeah,
I like my bow shooting that 285 to low 290s, except for whenever, and that's a hunting based scenario, right? For tack, total archery, 3D stuff, I like to get closer to that 300 feet per second if I'm building something specific for it. That's not just a hunting rig.
Yep, get light, get fast.
That's it, man. Flat trajectories for those far shots.
100%.
Yep.
Although they have thrown a twist in it as of late, because they know that people are building bows specifically for that, and talking with the folks at TAC. Now they're putting targets behind, fell trees, making it to where you have to lob that arrow in. They don't want everyone to be able to just shoot straight and flat.
Yeah. Anytime you shoot a TAC event, you can see where the hard targets are, because there's plenty of arrows in the trees all around them.
Yep. So they're getting wise to our tricks. So
keeps it fun.
It does, absolutely.
But I think so we shot Tennessee, and we didn't get to shoot PA this year. We busy working, but we shot PA last year. And I think both of my bows shot right at like 298 feet per second, or right at 300, somewhere around there. And I didn't have any issues whatsoever.
Yeah,
I mean,
same.
With it arcing into anything or whatnot. Yeah. Because, dude, what was the shot in Tennessee? That little Sasquatch?
Yes.
Yeah.
Buddy, that was tough.
That was very tough.
What, 68 yards, I think?
At least.
It was something like that,
dude,
yeah.
You couldn't even see the target, though.
What?
Yeah.
So I think Zach found it.
Yep.
When he said, it looks like the tree that a buck had rubbed.
Yes.
It's right
An
behind
elk
that.
had rubbed. It was blown up.
Yeah. That's the only way we identified it.
Yeah, and you had barely just like the left side of the target to see, really.
Yep. It's curving arrows. That's what we do.
Dude. Curving arrows.
We're wanted now.
Yep.
So what did you guys think? I mean, out of all the bows, so obviously we've shot majority of these bows, right? We carry
majority of them.
Majority of the bows. When it comes to your guys' experience on them, what are your thoughts? I mean, Mach 33, I mean, did you guys honestly feel like that's the best performing out of the ones that were in the lineup?
Best performing, I would say it's close. The Lift is another very great performing bow. I mean, and especially with the new tunability on it, with the limb shift technology, that's super hard to beat now too. So I was figuring it would be Mathews possibly number one. I was also thinking maybe the form would be number one because, I mean, the new technology that they added to it, the core cam is another phenomenal cam. So, I mean, that's just another hard bow to beat, in my opinion.
Dude, you say that. The Mathews lift wasn't even in the top 5.
Mm-mm.
Oh, really?
I would have liked to have seen them do the 33, though.
Yes.
If they did a Lift X 33, I think it would have been more apples to apples. And the same with the form.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or no, they did use the form
they used
34.
They used the form 34. Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't use the 30.
Yeah. So I'd like to see the Lift X 33. I think it would have been, it may have shook things up just a little bit, just because, like you said, I mean, and we've shot them all, right? I mean, 95% of the bows that they had on that list. It's really hard to pick a single winner. I mean, you shot the Mach 33 for TAC, and I mean, you shot phenomenally. I mean, the only, I think, it wouldn't even be something that's bad, was you said that it got a little light in high winds.
Yeah, so that was my biggest thing with the bow, right, is just, for me, the setup side of things, because it is such a light bow, which is fantastic. You can add weight where you want it to, and I hadn't spent enough time with it out in like that type of scenario, side of a mountain, a strong crosswind. And that was one of the issues, is the wind would really, based off the design, it would really float a lot more than I wanted to.
Yep.
So I'm trying to counter that. And I think I have countered it. I've added a little bit of weight to a little bit longer front bar. I went from a 12 to a 15. And then I added a back bar to it. That's a 10-inch back bar to offset it a little bit. I didn't run a quiver on it initially when I was out there. I put a quiver on it now. So it's a little bit heavier of a bow, but it does seem to hold on target a little bit better for me and a little bit more stable.
Right. Yeah. I mean, adding that weight is going to help a lot. So a light bow is nice to have, but there is the caveat to it, is you can see that movement a lot more. So if you can get a little bit more weight on it, it will help a lot better for that drift.
Yeah. And also, one of the things I've been playing with is the Archery SOS Hunter Elite system. Pretty cool. If you're not familiar with it, I talked to Eric Riggs out in Pennsylvania. So Archery is a company that created the SOS, the target system, right? For the target bows. Yeah. And it's what they refer to as a mass tune dampener.
Right.
And what it does is it helps absorb vibration within the bow. Right. So it's not a stabilizer. It's not meant to replace your stabilizer. It's helped to take some of the vibration out of the bow. And where you really notice it is what Eric describes is that little bit of back and forth that you get with your pin. Right. So what I noticed when I put it on my bow, and I've got it mounted to the front of the riser at the lower, on the Mach 30 currently right now, that lower stabilizer bushing, I've got it mounted there, offset to the left of my quiver. And I notice at full draw, especially at distance, my pin settles much quicker.
Really?
Like much quicker. Like when I go in and I draw and I get anchor on this bow and I set my pin on something, the float is not 100% gone, but the pin settles that much faster for me. It's honestly pretty impressive. And I haven't even dialed it in all the way yet. I know JR's been playing with one as well. And it's a very cool system.
So there's adjustability in it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So it's the way that it's set up. So it's got those wires that connects all the weight to it, and there's one side that is closer together, the other side is farther apart. And so what you can do with that is you can adjust that. I forgot what they said it was, but if you have it like the skinnier part is facing up, that's supposed to help, I think, for the left and right. I might have it backwards though, but
It's got a weak axis in it and
Sure.
then a stiffer axis essentially that you can rotate through. It's cool. It's pretty
I didn't
ingenious.
think that it would. I thought it would be more post shot vibration reduction.
So if you look at the video, whenever you're standing at full draw, there's still movement in that riser.
Sure.
And you see that little mass tune dampener moving, and it's absorbing that and offsetting it, and it's steadying that pin. It's super neat, man.
yeah, it's just like one of those gimbals that they use for cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
It just helps it's going to move all the vibration into that system with all that weight instead of onto the bow itself.
Gotcha.
It's just physics, I guess.
Yeah,
Physics,
science.
son.
I thought it was more post shot. I'm sure it helps with that as well.
It does.
Yeah.
So it does quiet the bow down a little bit further because, again, it's something else absorbing vibration, that post-shot feel. But the big thing that I've noticed is at full draw, at distance, my pin just settles that much faster.
So I'm just gonna have to spend more money.
That's it.
That's all.
That's all. That's the
It's
game
just
of archery.
money, you know.
I mean, they'll print more. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. So is it a need for anybody? Absolutely not. But it is cool for tactile events if you're looking to really improve archery accuracy at distance. I think it's a neat addition to your bow because even it's not designed to replace a stabilizer like a back bar or anything like that. But I think you could use it to offset instead of putting a back bar on there because it is heavier.
That's almost what I would do.
Yeah, it's not a bad call.
That's what I've done with mine. I don't have a back bar on mine, and
Smart.
I'm just running on the back stabilizer bushing on the back of the riser.
That's what I would do on the Mach 30.
Yep.
Just run it right out of the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm shooting that expedition this year, and that's another very light bow. So I just added that on, and that's been perfect for me.
Yeah, you shot that bow really good at TAC too.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's look at the score sheet. So this is the final, from what I can tell. So PSC Mach 33 was first. Bowtech Virtue was number 2.
Yes.
So the Virtue is a pretty sick bow.
A lot of that came from the innovation.
That was, so yes, the Bowtech Virtue and the Prime scored highest as far as innovation goes because the amount of technology. Bowtech has, as far as like tunability and capability with the tuning side of things, Bowtech has nailed it. I talked too fast. I had a Monster Energy drink, dude. I'm running.
You are.
Dude,
You
I
are
didn't go to bed till
cruising
4. Like, it's just one of those, this
Mm-hmm.
morning.
Wow.
So like, I'm locked in, as Joey would say.
Okay.
Locked in, kind of. But no, you're right. Bowtech won it. Is like had the most innovative features, and I think they across the board all their bows from deadlock to time lock to grip lock. I mean,
All the locks.
but they're all very useful
Right.
pieces of technology that you can get behind, right? You can change the angle of that grip based off how you index that bow. You know, adjusting your timing with the time lock doesn't require a bow press. Shifting your cam left or right to accommodate a tear doesn't require a bow press. Super innovative features, which they've had for a while, but still.
They upgraded all the hardware
And
to titanium.
That's what I was going to say. Titanium
Which-
is phenomenal.
It doesn't rust. No,
Yep.
I mean, you don't have to worry about it ever.
Yep.
Where Eastern North Carolina, it rains a lot. We're in the swamps a lot. There's surface rust on everything.
Yep, we're on the coast, so we get plenty of salt water sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's that in itself. I mean, there is that one company I
Fire
forget,
Knock.
that does all of the replaceable
Fire Knock.
hardware. Yeah.
That'd be worth getting.
Yeah.
Especially for here. Because all my stuff has, like you said, that surface.
That's
rust.
what I put on my Levitate when I had the Mach 34. I put it on there. I haven't done it on anything else yet, but yeah.
Yeah.
Any bow I plan on keeping for a long time, I get a Fire Knock kit.
Yeah. So there again, I mean, and that's already on the bow from Bowtech with all of their lock technology. So, I mean, that's what gave them so many points was all of that with the innovation stuff.
Bowtech scored highest out of anybody for both innovation and features that they offered, which, I mean, no doubt. The other thing, I'm looking at the speeds right now. So the speeds for these bows are all very, very consistent. So whenever people are talking about this bow's faster than the other, dude, looking at the speeds right now. So PSC Mach 33, 282, Virtue 282.4, Exalt 35 from Elite 282.5, the Darton Sequel 33, 279.7. They are all within, like the fastest bow was the Lift, which was 288, and then the Decree behind that at 285. So all within 10 feet per second, and most of them within 6 feet per second difference.
Was the Bowtech shot in performance or comfort? I don't remember.
We do
Yeah,
not.
not sure.
Okay.
Let me see if I can
I'm
find
assuming probably comfort.
That's what I would
I
assume.
thought it was comfort.
Yeah.
I just don't recall, and I don't want to misspeak. But I mean, even that, the ability to switch from performance to comfort is just yet another feature. That's, if you want some more horsepower.
Right. Yeah, and like Prime has it now too with their performance mods, but that's a whole different mod.
Right.
Yeah, that's where the technology and stuff that, that Bowtech has is incredible, man. I mean, that flip disc technology, you don't have to buy a different mod. You've got all your draw lengths and the ability to run from performance to comfort, which I'll tell you, man, the Bowtechs, like their Core SS, I would shoot on performance, but their SR and their Virtue, I would run on comfort.
Yes.
Based off the draw cycle.
Yep. Same. Agreed.
I shot the Core SR in performance, and I didn't mind it.
Ooh, that's got such a dump off on the back, it feels like.
It wasn't that bad for me, but I mean, I was used to shooting the Levitate a
So
lot.
they tested it on the comfort setting.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah, they sure did. 61.3 pounds on comfort.
That's what I thought, but I didn't want to misspeak. So you mean so you can even get more speed out of that.
10 feet
like
per
you said,
second is what you're going to get out of it.
10?
We've tested it.
Yeah.
Yeah. On
So-
average, you get 10 feet.
I mean, and that put it at what?
292.
292,
which
yeah.
is at number 1.
Yeah.
But again, now you're sacrificing that draw cycle to get that. So, I mean, there's give and take everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they tested it in comfort because, I mean, I did not like shooting that Virtue in performance.
I didn't like it either.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. Like it's scored middle of the road for draw cycle, even on comfort. So on performance, that thing would have been bottom of the barrel, man.
Sure.
It's just because it is. You've got to be, like you said, there's give and take. You got to be, you're going to give up something to gain something. That's typically how it goes. And that performance, it just stacks and then really dumps off. But I mean, it shoots really well. You get that 10 feet per second on average, more speed out of it. So if you're a guy that's a little bit shorter draw length that needs that speed, it's a good addition.
Right.
You just have to be willing to sacrifice.
Yeah, as long as you're not
cycle.
compromising your form and the way you do things.
Which you don't have. It's not like it's not manageable. I just don't
Sure.
think it has that. It just doesn't have that same feel, right? It just stacks, and then dumps off into the back
and
half.
that back wall's so shallow.
Right.
It is zero forgiving. If you're trying out a new release, don't do it on that performance setting. You are going to send it through somewhere.
Yeah, or if you're going to a hinge, don't try it with a hinge.
Yeah.
That'd be the one way. For
Yeah,
sure.
that scared the crap out of me. Hinge does anyways. I would not do it with that on performance.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, since we're on draw cycles, so wasn't it Mathews that they, on their scoring, it had like 2 humps to it? If I remember right.
Yes. So Mathews scored the worst on draw cycle, and they do a good job of detailing it in the video, right? So, or the article. And what they say is you've got to, you give up something to gain something.
Sure.
And the Mathews, they said it takes, there's 2 points in the draw cycle that require, I think what PJ Riley said is effort, right? In the beginning of the draw cycle, it builds, it kind of rolls over a little bit, and then you've got one more peak on the back half of the draw cycle before it rolls over. And that's where they knocked it as saying the draw cycle was a little bit more aggressive. It says the biggest complaint about the draw cycle is that it has 2 areas that require effort, one at the start of the draw and one right before the cams roll over. You can see this in the draw force curve as a peak in the beginning of the draw cycle, and another one just as the draw weight drops down, which is really cool with what they did. They showed the peak of each draw cycle.
Right.
And they outline it, and you can clearly see it in the Mathews where beginning, and then at the end, there's another hump, which to me, when you actually draw the bow,
I don't notice it.
Yeah, I don't feel it either.
but if you take your time and you watch the way that when they were actually testing for draw cycle, it's very methodical. It's very slow. And you can see them, okay, 1, 2, and it rolls back over. So to the average person, probably not a big deal. But as far as testing goes, they really took their time with it to show the full curve of the draw cycle.
I mean, that's just a testament to exactly like what they're going through to do this. And the Mach 33 still came out on top.
Yeah.
I mean, that EC2 cam, we all firmly believe in that EC2 cam. I mean, there's no reason to change it if it's working.
Yeah, and the other thing that they say too is with the Mathews bow is this is the 2nd year in a row that it came in second to PSE in the accuracy testing. So it averaged 0.3 inches larger group than the 2 PSEs. The PSE was the Decree, the 33, and then the Mathews. The Mathews was right there, not far off as far as accuracy goes. So I understand the appeal for the Mathews bow. I mean, it's the #1 bow out there, right? Everyone, when you think archery, everyone goes straight to Mathews, and it's the #1 selling bow, I think, across what we see on the East Coast at least. And there's a reason. I mean, it performed incredibly well. 1, it's fast. A lot of people want a fast bow. 2, when it comes to the accuracy side of things, 50-yard group, it was right there, hanging close to the PSE bow. So it's fast and accurate.
Yeah, and then all the innovation with Mathews. I mean, there's so much you can add on for it. We always joke in the shop and say, they're the Apple of the archery world. There's so much accessories you can get for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, this proprietary system. If you run that system together, it's a good feeling bow.
Oh, yeah.
But so here's what we did, and you and I in Pennsylvania, so many people were like coming up saying, looking at your Mach 33 going, I just don't know. We're like, you need to go talk to PSE, go put one in your hand and you watch. You're just going to be so pleasantly surprised that we kept them so busy. They were like, guys, stop telling people to come over here because they didn't have a chance to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. And that goes back to Total Archery, right? Like the cool thing about Total Archery is how it brings the whole community together, and you've got all your bow manufacturers there now.
Sure.
That it wasn't like that. Mathews wasn't at all these events, I don't think, last year.
Not even the years I've gone.
No, this was the first year that they're actually out there. They actually missed some IBO events to come out to Total Archery Challenge. So Total Archery Challenge is the archery event to be at. And the cool thing about it is you can go and test, like we talk about, not everybody has a shop that carries all these manufacturers like we do. You can go to this event and you can test all those bows and get a feel for them there and see what what really makes the most sense for you.
Yeah, that was what Cooper was saying. He was like, guys, you guys are keeping us so busy. This is ridiculous. They're like, the guys from Extreme Outfitters keep sending us over here.
Yep.
So
it sounded like you guys are super busy too. So.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy.
Yeah,
crazy.
it was a good event, man.
Yeah. Minus the rain.
Yeah.
The rain and the mud. I mean, it seemed to follow us everywhere we went. So it's just what it was.
The black cloud. So when we look at now, so average group, we talked about accuracy, draw weight, speed, features. So honestly, PSE had the lowest in as far as innovation and features go, and Bowtech and the Prime Form were the highest in those, which I would agree.
Sure.
Innovation wise.
Well, I mean, let's look big picture. What did PSE have to change from last year to this year?
Well, funny. Yes, you say that. That's exactly what they say in the video. They're like, they didn't really innovate it, but they didn't need to.
They made it 3 inches longer.
Yeah, when the bow it just performs.
That's it.
Yep.
What else do you want them to do?
Exactly.
So, and people argue about the tuning side of things, right? The Easy 220 shim system is a great system. It's very simplistic, but it is not as easy as a deadlock cam from Bowtech. It is not as easy as
the limb shift from
Mathews. But let's be realistic. Not everybody needs to be able to tune their bows and tinker like that. That's why I still think Hoyt has a really good system. Hoyt bows are proven time and time again. They are the most durable bows on the market. And we've tested it. A handful of other people have tested it, from the dry fire testing that they do, 1,500 dry fire tests, to we ran them over, we threw it, we dry fired it. The bow performs. And the thing about a Hoyt bow is once you set it up and tune it, you don't need to touch it.
Right.
I mean, you can drop it off your backpack. It's still in tune, still in time.
Well, I mean, the same thing with the Easy 220. I mean, literally took it, hung it up, didn't do anything with it. I mean, once it's tuned, it should be, I mean, for the most part, tuned, unless you drastically change something.
Yeah.
Or strings, cables, X, Y,
right.
Z.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't change anything within a year, I mean, that's the recommended time we do is tell everybody to come back in a year to get it retuned.
Sure.
And a lot of times, we don't have to retune most of them unless they change something.
Yeah.
Right.
Even my Solution SS that I had from Bowtech a few years back, it had stock strings on it. That bow, I had that bow for like 3 years, and I didn't put new strings on it until I got rid of it. And those strings, they were stock strings. They stayed in time. They didn't lose any poundage. I was honestly impressed with them.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to use that deadlock cam technology, except the first time I set it up.
Right.
So,
and that's another big thing is, I mean, how often do you mess with, moving a cam,
set it up and shoot the bow, man.
Really, that's it.
Yep. The only time you'd have to is like if you set it for total archery and then you change to a heavier arrow or something like that, or change arrows completely. Yeah. That's the biggest time.
Then you're really not even.
Yeah.
I mean, once you throw it through paper and do all that, but it shouldn't change a whole ton.
It just depends. Like for my bow, I was at a 450 grain arrow and I went up almost 100 grain, so I had to reshim for sure. But yeah, other than that, I mean, if I wasn't making that drastic of a jump, it probably wouldn't have been as bad.
Sure,
makes sense. Yeah. So back wall, interesting. The PSE Mach 33 and the Elite Exalt 35. Have any of you guys shot the Elite, the Exalt?
Not the Exalt.
No.
I've shot the Omnia.
Yep.
And the Era.
Yeah, interesting. Those were the two highest scoring for back wall. And then, the Darton sequel was right there. The Decree was right there as far as back wall goes. Mm-hmm. So I would agree. I think the Form, I thought, had a really good back wall, though. in my opinion, it scored a little bit lower.
Well, yeah. I mean, I shot the 34, and I was like, holy crap. If I was to shoot anything else, it would be this. It's so much bow. And that back wall was great. The after shot feel was phenomenal with nothing on the bow. I mean, no counterbalance, no weight, no anything.
I think back wall would be like the hardest category to score because they all feel really good in the hand.
I agree. That's tough because that's like the Expedition. Like I would like to have seen Expedition in here, like we talked about. Probably the 32. Yeah. Because the back wall on that thing is
solid. It's super solid.
Well, that's
that's a good shooting bow. It's just a little bit slower.
It is.
So that's so most of these are string stops, right? So the Expedition has dual string stops, which makes it exponentially stiffer. The only way you're going to get a stiffer back wall is if it was a true limb stop. Right. And then eventually those things wear out and, you got to change the bushings, whatever. But, I mean, that's the only way you're going to get a dead back stiff wall. And how do you test it? Like you said, because your tension in the back wall is going to be a little bit more or less than either one of ours.
Right.
But all three came together and said, this is what I feel, this is what I feel, and then they compiled the evidence. So, I mean, it's hard to argue. But like you said, the post-shot feel is going to all be subjective to the individual as well. So how do you test that? I mean, you get my opinion, your opinion, and then
The only way to really test that would be putting it on like a drawboard and then having a tape measure or a micrometer or something to actually measure and see how much creep is in there. That'd be the ideal way to check that.
Really
I think
getting into the weeds.
That's super technical there.
Yeah.
So, as far as where to go, draw cycle, Mathews and Hoyt scored lowest. That RX-9 Ultra to me, I feel like the draw cycle's good on that.
I do too. I felt it was very smooth and it wasn't aggressive. I noticed that on the shorter bows, the RX-9s and the AX2, the 20 or the 30. I've noticed it's a little bit more aggressive on that, but the longer bows felt fine.
Yeah.
Dude,
it's a little bit stiffer.
I mean, just a touch though. And these bows at 60 pounds ain't stiff.
Yeah, that's gonna be super easy.
But that has been the biggest complaint with the Hoyt bows this year is the stiffer draw cycle. And I guess everyone's stuck. And the only people that are saying that are the ones going from RX-8s to RX-9s.
Yep.
So they're stuck on that bow from last year, but you gain more speed, which everyone wanted.
Right.
So there's
your compromise.
That's your compromise right there. You got to give up something to gain something. I still feel like the Hoyt draw cycle with their can system I thought it was really good.
It's very consistent. I didn't notice it was stiff for me in the beginning, but there was no humps, there was no valleys until the actual, back wall or whatever you want to call it. When it really dropped off, and then it was like, oh, okay. Holding weight seems about the same as everyone else, but it was just no crazy humps, no crazy valleys, it was very consistent, but that's where the speed comes from.
Right. And from all of our testing that we've done, I feel like Hoyt always had the lowest holding weight or was one of the top in holding weight.
You are correct. Yeah. Because we measured some of them. It's like you're holding like
4 pounds.
4 pounds, 4.8 pounds. Yeah. And that's not 85%.
No.
People would harp on us. They're like, your math is wrong. I'm like, I'm not doing the math. I'm telling you that this is set up at 85% and we're only holding 4 pounds.
And you double check the scale.
I get it. The math ain't mathing, but it's out of my hands.
Yep. Yeah.
This is what the scale says.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Be mad at me, bro.
Yeah, the one test you did, you were like, this isn't right. Just test it again.
That's right.
And it was, oh, crap, I guess it was right.
Yeah. I think one time we even had one that was like holding 3 pounds, like 3-point-something pounds. It was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
So,
but a lot of that is, and we had this conversation a lot, is I like to feel to hold a little bit more weight. Like I set mine up at 80%, just because I'll get lazy. Inherently, I will. And that's what scared me so much with the Levitate and now the Virtue and performance mode, where if you let up just a little bit, that little bit of laziness comes in, she's going to run on you.
Yeah, well, and another thing with that too is, the more holding weight you have, it's going to have more tension on your main string, so that can actually help you be a little bit more accurate as well.
Sure.
So that's why all the target stuff is all 60 to 80% let off normally.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get to Outdoor Life's page right now to look up comments. I want to see if there's any comments.
Oh, I'm sure there's
if there's any negative comments about what they declared as the winner.
Yes, guaranteed. Probably 70% of them are negative comments. But I mean, and PJ Riley came out flat out and said it. He goes, "We did not want to pick this bow. As unbiased as we were trying to be, we did not want to come to this."
Yeah, but everything just stacked up, and I mean, it scored the best. So, I mean, that's going to be the obvious choice right there.
Yeah,
Dude, some of these comments are funny.
they're all funny. I try not to read them.
Oh,
I haven't read any of those
you
yet.
can buy a 15-year-old bow for $100 and be successful too.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah,
Go to your local pawn shop and buy one then, you know?
Let's see. None of them I would waste the money on. It's like all these manufacturers are pimping the latest and greatest $1,600 to $2,000 bows, and they still don't touch my 5-year-old Bowtech flagship bow I paid $800 for 5 years ago. They've priced themselves out of the average man's market, which I will agree that for like your blue collar guys, pricing and stuff is getting pretty high. So I don't know how long we can sustain this until there has to be a change.
Right.
But yeah, probably the last bow I ever buy in my lifetime. I'll pistol hunt rather than buy another bow. PSE the winner. Yeah, there's a lot of there's some good comments.
sure. But there's, as a whole, everything, even just minimum wage, has gone up exponentially in 8 years. And that's, just inflation, call it what it is. But that's, everything has to go up. Otherwise, you're not going to have a business. You're not going to have a brand if you don't keep up.
Yeah,
because you still have to pay your people.
Right. That's the problem, though, is like the pay hasn't kept up with the price of stuff. I mean, if you look at the cost of goods now, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, somebody that makes an honest living. Let's say you have a $40,000 or $50,000 salary. Just that one salary for your household to live on. I mean, looking at buying a home and everything, the cost is insane. Now we're looking at this bow hunting as a hobby, right? That's just, it's a pastime. It's not a necessity. Some people are priced out, when you guys spend $2,500 on a bow. That's where that $800 to $1,000 price point is still, I think, reasonable for a lot of people. So I'm really curious to see the shift as this evolves, if there's going to be some new technology that allows the price point to ever come down. I mean, because let's be real, your mid-price point bows are still good bows.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I think you can go onto the wall and pick up a bear and do just fine with it.
Yeah, ready to shoot. Look at the hunting public guys. That's all they shoot is the bear. And
John Dill killed a deer the other year with an Adapt.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a very capable piece of equipment. I will not deny that, because we do videos and stuff, right? High dollar bow versus entry level or cheap bow. There is a difference. I don't care there is a difference between your flagship bow and your mid-price point bow. Do they both have the same capability as far as lethality? Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Yes, they do, right? They're both designed to kill animals.
Sure.
But your flagship does come with premium features, accessories, and performance.
Adjustability, tunability.
You can still tune these mid-price point bows, but
you can do it a lot more efficiently and easier on a flagship bow,
and
100%.
accurately on that. Like when we look at some of these bear bows, not a dig on bear, but like their mid-price point bows, tuning those bows is an absolute nightmare.
It is.
The strings that come on them right out of the gate aren't fantastic. That's the first thing I would replace. But it's still a very capable piece of equipment. And if it's in your budget, that's in your budget. That's fantastic. Get into it and shoot it. You can get the job done. I can assure you that.
Yep.
We've seen a ton of dudes, kill elk. I had a dude that went to Alaska and killed a caribou with a diamond infinite edge.
Yep.
Yeah, the guy that moved from Alaska, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago. Yep.
Unreal.
Yeah, he killed all sorts of stuff with that bow.
Didn't matter. At the end of the day, it comes down to the individual behind the equipment. As long as the bow's set up correctly and as well as it can be, right, and you get good arrow flight out of it, the bows, you can get the job done.
Yep.
But if you're into it, like you're true archery enthusiast, you're chasing that top of the line stuff.
Perfect. And I'd relate it to like golf. If you buy a set of
Same
golf
thing.
clubs from Walmart, are you going to outplay those eventually?
You could.
I think so.
Yeah, 100%. It
Right.
just depends on how much you're into it and how much
That's what it is. You do you, boo-boo. That's what it
100%.
all... stay within your budget. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself first. invest in your
Yes.
family, and then hobbies and all that stuff comes.
I'm a firm believer in if you have a hobby, there's nothing wrong with investing heavily in it. I mean, everyone needs something that they enjoy, and whatever that is, whether it's fishing, it's bow hunting, it's golf, it's I don't know, whatever. Cars.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with I don't think splurging a little bit in your hobby.
100%.
Agreed.
If you can't be happy with what you do, then you're not gonna be happy in life to begin with.
That's right.
Dang, look at him.
Ooh,
with
that's a
the
power
wisdom.
quote,
Yeah.
son.
I'm a guru.
I like
You're
it.
something.
I like it. So as far as post-shot feel, the worst performing was the Mathews. Excuse me. It was the Prime Form.
Really?
That's interesting.
Yeah, that is very interesting. Because out of all the bows that I've shot that we have, that one felt the best post-shot with 0 on it.
Dude, the number one was the Elite Exalt and the PSE Mach 33, which I don't know, man. I didn't feel like any of the bows that we shot really like the post-shot feel was bad. I mean, even the Hoyt, it was down there with a 3.6.
Yeah, that's weird because the
The
Hoyts.
Mathews was low on the list too.
Really?
Yeah, that's surprising.
Yeah. Anytime I shot a Mathews, they're always super dead.
Quiet. That's
yeah,
like the
quiet.
quietest bow
Yeah.
too.
Dude, the video that I did the other day, super quiet.
Yep.
It's like a suppressed bow. It's so
Yeah.
quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. Hoyt's normally really good. I feel like.
I did not like the grip on the Mathews. I changed out
That's
immediately.
So the Mathews grip, it didn't score the lowest. The Darton sequel did. It scored middle of the road. So the Hoyt, the Elite Artist, the Lift, the Form all scored a 3.3 on the grip. The one that they said had the best grip was the Mach 33.
Which is no grip. It's just the riser.
It's just the riser, but
Yeah.
dude, it doesn't. So funny enough, right? The biggest complaint with the Mathews grip is it's rounded. It rolls in your hand.
Yep.
That's the number one complaint across the board. The Mach 33, the grip is kind of rounded.
Very similar.
But it does not roll in your hand. It doesn't induce that hand torque. It's weird.
I didn't feel the roundness of it. I mean, it felt.
If you look at it,
Yeah, I did.
like
It's there, but it's not as
it's not as
pronounced
drastic.
as the Mathews.
Yeah. Which Mathews did a good job to counter that with all their grip options. So
Yeah, the new bond system.
there's literally no excuse now for, say, I don't want to shoot Mathews because of the grip.
I just slapped a B-reel grip on it right away
That's
because
like
I
number
like that squared off. I like the extra ledge that it has on the outside to protect my knuckle and finger.
Yeah, I like the first gen grip better, to be honest, but I do like the changes that they made on the second gen. For
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
And this is all subject to the individual doing it, right? So
Yes.
that has to be taken into account. So that's why we always say, get to your shop, shoot everything you can before you make your decision.
Right.
Because it's ultimately it's down to these three guys. I mean, and they're all wildly different than any one of us. That's what makes this sport so unique.
Right.
Is that it's 100% subjective, especially with a lot of those categories.
Right.
Back wall feel, post shot feel, vibration.
Yeah, those are all definitely. But when it comes to like when you look at an average of, you can look at things that are kind of non-negotiables like your speed, the features they offer,
Sure.
and then the accuracy, which across the board, it's not one
Yep.
guy. They did an average. The bows that shine, I mean, you can see the bows that kind of stand out, but at the same time, I mean, like back to what you're saying, it's based off the individual and what feels best for them. I mean, when we look at accuracy, Hoyt scored the worst. They got a 1 out of 5.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Interesting.
I'd be curious to.
The second worst was the Elite Artists
Did they go back through?
and the Prime Form.
Did they go back through at the end and paper tune them again to see if that any one of them had shifted? I wonder.
No, I don't think
I don't
so.
think so. I mean, they haven't shot that many shots through them by that point.
They shot a ton of.
But they
shots.
did shoot a lot. There was like 300 something arrows per bow, I think, throughout this whole testing. So yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit of arrows through it.
Yeah. Accuracy, number one was the Decree, and then the Mach 33, and then the Mathews Lift.
Yeah.
Lift 29.5. Yep.
And that bow holds phenomenal. That 29.5. I mean, it shoots like a 33-inch bow.
It's got such a long riser.
It does.
That's the thing about the Mathews bow. Like that 29.5 looked way bigger than like a Mach 30 or especially the Prime 30 because the riser is so much longer.
Yeah, it's like I remember when it was, I think the Phase 4 or something like that came out, it was almost as long as the TRX 36, the riser. It was just as long as that. So, I mean, it was, sitting there target bow length.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Good stuff. I mean, so they did a fantastic job, but this is just testing that's done to kind of give you an idea of, how these guys recommend the bow. But you can only take it with a grain of salt. Right. Go to your local shop and shoot bows for yourself. That's like us at Extreme Outfitters. We carry all the brands except Elite, I think,
and
Darton. But all the other brands we carry, so you could go in, test all of them for yourself, form an opinion, and then buy based off what feels best to you. And I highly recommend, like when I first got into the archery world, like I was introduced wrong. I never tested a bow. They were like, hey, here's a bow it wasn't even fitted. It was a 1/2 inch short. I didn't realize, it was never tuned. It was, here's some arrows for it. I was shooting a 350 spine and a 400 spine. Had no idea what spine was, that arrows were different. But that's where it's important. Go to a good pro shop, go to a good archery shop, talk to the techs behind the counter, and spend time with them to learn the ins and outs and test the bows for yourself. If you're new, yes, you're not going to know exactly what you're looking for, but being able to shoot different bows is going to give you an idea of what they all feel like, so you can kind of say, oh, I kind of like the feel of this one over that one,
right?
Versus just, walk in and say, I'll buy it. Give me that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But there are those people that are so brand loyal that they are not going to try anything else.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them.
Oh yeah. And then I think we shifted a lot of them, at least in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Go shoot that PSE. Just try it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's a lot of good options, man. I mean, the Hoyt has done a fantastic job. I think I like their bows this year. I really like the AX to the 32. I think that's a fantastic aluminum bow. I like their aluminum bows a lot. And then the Core SS from Bowtech, I'm a fan of as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great bow. I really liked the Core SR last year. What's in the lineup this year? I think the Decree is probably one of the most underrated bows on the market at this point. What else we have?
Well, you shot the Decree last year at TAC, didn't you?
Yeah, the 33.
No, I shot the Evolve.
Or the Evolve.
Oh, that's right.
I shot the Evolve.
Yeah, the Decree is this year.
The Decree is new. It's that 31.5 inch bow. And as far as like an aluminum bow, overall axle to axle length, the specs that bow has, it is a phenomenal do all bow if you're just getting one, especially if you're a sub 30 inch guy. I think it is a perfect a bow. It's got an incredible draw cycle with the EC2 cam that we talk about. The grip on that bow is fantastic. I think EC220 shim system. It shoots good. Clearly, full draw stability in any of your PSE bows. It's a shooter, no question.
Yep.
Yeah. And that axle to axle is perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great for tree hunting. Or tree hunting.
Hunting trees?
Yeah. Going out for them trees, for tree stand hunting.
I think anything. I mean, that 31.5, I mean, it's just that sweet, for me anyways, at a 28.5 inch draw. 29.5, 30 inch bows, it's pushing it. But I get that 31.5, 32 inch. I mean, that's money. I can hold that all day long.
Yeah, I love it. That's one of my favorite axle lengths is right around that 32 inch.
See?
I love those. The grip from the Decree is probably my favorite on the market. Besides the Bowtech, that's really good. And I actually really like that Expedition grip too, even though it's not in the Outdoor Life testing.
Outdoor Life. Extreme Outfitters needs to do their own test.
Yep.
Yeah.
I said that the other day.
You got to be careful about it though.
Yeah.
I don't want to sway anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Because I want everyone to make their own decision. That was the big thing with this shop, man. It's just important that you get hands-on and test for yourself. But it's funny. I'm reading one of the quotes from the article. It says, if you're stuck on brand loyalty, I'm looking at you, Mathews fans. You're missing out on a lot of cool new bows. So as you're trying out new bows this year, give one of the little guys a chance alongside your favorite big names, it's important, man. These smaller brands need to stay in the game, right? We saw Athens go away.
Yep.
The more bow brands that go away, the less options you have in the archery community. So Expedition, Prime, all the other smaller
Obsession.
They're
a very small brand now, it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, it's important we keep them around. So give them, the opportunity. If you go in, you find a shop that carries them. I mean, we carry Expedition and the Prime bows. And, I know a lot of you guys go out and We talk about it. Brand loyal. You want to just shoot that Hoyt bow or that Mathews bow? Go give the other brands an opportunity, man, and you won't be you won't be unimpressed. Disappointed. Good Lord.
You just smash bang fusion those two words together.
Yeah. But you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, give these these bows an opportunity, because there's some really great technology and features out there that you'll probably be surprisingly impressed with.
So that's, you know, we had the Expedition guys next to us in Tennessee, and that, I mean, competition breeds innovation.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Right. So if these guys go away, there goes your mid price point bows. It's just you're stuck with the 2-3 big names. So try them all out. I mean, that was what really drew me in here initially. What, 4 or 5 years ago now?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Was I came in, talked to Cody. I wanted to put a Mathews in my hand. He goes, I get it, bud. Everybody does. But I want you to shoot everything. Let's spend it. And I spent the whole day here.
If you're here, Cody. You might as well spend some time.
And he had me shoot literally everything. Set up my draw link, set up, you know, everything from, you know, nut to butt, A to Z. And then it was like, I settled on actually the Hoyt. I went with the Z1S. And then now I've gotten shoot PSE. The Mach 30 all last year was amazing. Mm-hmm. Mathews Lift X this year. Yep. You know, I mean, it's just, it's moving around, trying everything.
Right.
See what feels best to you, and then go from there. I mean, the Expedition was definitely on the list this year. When we got those in, it was just like kid in a candy store. You know, just the innovation with that was just like, oh my gosh, that's what put you in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, I love shooting that bow. It's my favorite bow. And
you shoot crazy groups with it. It even out to distance, it's ridiculous.
It's still shooting fast for you too.
Yeah.
Because it was on the slower. It was on the slower side of some of the bows. But when we say the slower side, it's literally a couple feet per second difference.
Yeah, it's nothing super drastic. You know, it's just a couple feet here and there.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I had it set up and I was shooting right at 300 feet per second with a 450 grain arrow or 442 grain arrow.
Yeah.
So it's still plenty fast.
Screaming fast. I mean, that's what we talk about, is on the slow end. I mean, we said the same thing about the Bowtechs last year, right? But it's really, if you set it up, if you take the time to, and you know, really dial that arrow weight, set up it for what the game that you're going after, you're going to get what you want out of it. Mm-hmm. So take that for what it's worth.
Agreed. So final wrap on it. PSE Mach 33 was your number one, was your winner. Second was Bowtech Virtue. Third was the Elite Exalt 35. Fourth was your Darton Sequel 33. Fifth was the PSE Decree. Sixth was your Prime Form. Seventh was the Mathews Lift X 29.5. Eighth was Elite Artist, and ninth was the Hoyt RX9 Ultra. All fantastic bows. All bows you should give, or you should consider, and if you have the ability to, go and test out for yourself.
Yep.
Agreed.
As well as all the other bows that are not tested. Because there's so many. A lot. There's a lot of bows. Mm-hmm. Try them all if you can.
Yeah, different ATA lengths depending on you and what you're looking to do. Whether you're hunting out west, you're hunting east coast, you have one bow to do it all. There's a lot of different axle lengths to consider within those. You got a Lift X 29.5, Lift X 33, RX9 Ultra. I mean, PSE Mach 30, 33, 35.
Yep. Yeah.
There's a ton of ATA options, a lot of different bows out there, a lot of great bows to consider, with an overwhelming amount of bow accessories to go along with those.
That's what's cool about the Prime Form.
Yeah, the Prime Form's pretty sick.
The ability to change that ATA with literally the cut of a tube.
I wonder if they're going to end up doing like custom ATA lengths, 31.5.
That would be kind of cool. Yeah. I mean, that would be very daunting for them, but
hey, man, there's an upcharge for everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. All right, guys, any final thoughts?
PSE did it again. I mean, it's hard. Don't fix it if it ain't broke.
Yep.
I mean,
PJ Riley said it, man.
Yeah, that EC2 cam. We've been saying it since last year when it came out. That it's just
the EC2's been out for 3 years.
Yeah. This is year 3.
Yeah. 3 years.
So
it's just another addition to the Evolve cam. They're just redesigning that. So I wonder what's going to happen for 2026.
Yes.
The only thing I hope PSE comes out with is a bow stand.
Yes, and then some changes here and there to like their quiver system, which I actually really love, that 2-piece quiver
that mounts to the cable
guard. Yeah,
it's a good system.
I thought that was pretty innovative right there.
Yep.
So
lots of good stuff, guys. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Drop some comments, give some feedback. What's your thoughts on the 2025 bow of the year? What bow would you choose? And then also let us know what topics you guys want to hear us cover. You know, there's lots of good things happening in the archery world right now. So yeah, give us some feedback. As always, appreciate you guys listening. This was another episode of the Archery Project with none other than Brian and JR and myself, Zach. We will catch you guys in another episode. Thanks, guys.